majority don't question. There is a small minority question about the teacher, not the teaching. Now, questioning has to be done with reference to the teachings of the master, not the life of the teacher. What the teacher did, what Krishna did is far more interesting to you than what Krishna taught. You have to question. But then, in questioning, you should learn to decipher the difference between the charming personality of the master, brilliance of his life, and his teaching. They are not the same because of two reasons. Reason number one, to speak a language is one thing. To teach that language is quite another thing. To be a good salesman is one thing. To be a good sales manager is quite another. Number two is when the teacher is teaching, when this master is speaking, he is speaking according to the level of the student, receptacle. Now you see there are two texts ascribed to Krishna. Same Krishna. When he is speaking to Arjuna, one language. Same Krishna, he speaks to Uddhava, another language. You see, why? Because the student is different. Remember, Arjuna is different. Uddhava is different. Both are Krishna's friends. Arjuna is also a very good friend of Krishna. Uddhava also a very good friend of Krishna. But the personality of Uddhava is totally different from the personality of Arjuna. Remember, therefore, the teachings of the master is not dependent on the master. It is dependent on the audience. But when the master lives his life, he lives his life from the pedestal of his wisdom. The wisdom of Buddha is information to you, isn't it? And Buddha says, imagine one man. It's supposed to be, Buddha was teaching for about 80 years or so after he got enlightened. At the age of 32, he got enlightened. And he was teaching for over 60 years. 80, he passed away. 83 or 84, he passed away, they say. About 60 years, he has been teaching. For 60 years, imagine one man goes on saying, life is painful. 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 What should have happened to him mentally? Ask any psychiatrist. Isn't it a negative thought? Is it a positive thinking or negative thinking? Now imagine you are constantly saying, life is painful. Life is painful. Not only for me, for everybody in the world. Life is full of pain. Life is full of pain. Life is full of pain. But Buddha is such an epitome of peace. How is it that a man who constantly goes on saying negative about life, he lives life very positively, so peaceful? His statue gives you peace here. Forget about him. His statue is giving you people peace in the world today. Even today, it's inspiring people. You sit in front of Buddha statue, you feel that peace dawning on you. You can imagine how much peace he must have had. But for 60 years, what he was teaching to everybody? Every day he was giving lecture like me. And every lecture of him is what, sir? Life is painful, life is painful, life is painful. How agitated his life must have been then. He should have gone into depression. He did not get into depression. Why? When he said life is painful, and you repeat that life is painful, it's an information. That's what we call as borrowed knowledge. all the knowledge that you are carrying, your values, your ethics, your spiritual knowledge, everything is borrowed. It's not yours. Why? Any master, when he speaks, he doesn't give his wisdom, he gives his knowledge. But when he lives his life, he doesn't live his life with knowledge, he lives his life with wisdom. Therefore, as a student, when you are going to start your pursuit of the subject, your obligation is what, sir? You are not supposed to be probing into the teacher's life. What are you supposed to do, sir? Teaching you probe. That's why a student is expected to have a weird combination. One side with reference to the teacher, total surrender. With reference to teaching, a critical analyst. You have to be critical with reference to the teaching. With reference to the teacher, what is it, sir? Sharanagati.